Get this trash out of my bank before the real customers see her. Preston Langford's palm cracked against Celine Vaughn's cheek. The sharp slap echoed through First National Trust's marble lobby, freezing every conversation mid-sentence. Celine's loan application scattered across the floor. Langford kicked her leather portfolio toward the door, his face twisted with disgust. "Security!" he barked, pointing at her like she carried a disease. "Remove this welfare queen before she scares away paying customers." Phones appeared instantly. The college student by the ATM hit record. An elderly woman gasped. Two businessmen exchanged uncomfortable glances but kept walking. Celine touched her stinging cheek, her brown eyes steady despite the public humiliation. She bent to gather her papers, moving with careful dignity while Langford towered over her, chest puffed with authority. "Have you ever been judged so harshly that one moment changed an entire institution forever?" Celine glanced at her vintage Cartier watch, a subtle detail that Langford missed entirely. His attention was focused on the small crowd gathering, their phones capturing every moment of his performance. "Look at her," Langford announced to the lobby, his voice carrying across the polished stone. "Torn jeans, no makeup, probably hasn't showered. This is exactly the type that drains our resources." Vivian Hale, a local college student, had started live streaming the moment she heard the slap. Her feed showed hundreds of viewers and climbing. "This is absolutely disgusting," she whispered to her phone. "This manager just slapped a customer at First National Trust downtown. I can't believe what I'm witnessing." Comments flooded her screen. "Sue them all. This is happening right now. Get his name." Langford stepped closer to Celine, deliberately invading her personal space. His cologne mixed with the scent of his morning coffee created a nauseating cloud. "Miss, I don't know what fantasy brought you here, but this bank serves successful Americans. We don't do charity cases or government handouts." His eyes swept her modest gray wool coat with obvious disdain. "Try the community credit union down the street. They're more accommodating to your demographic." Celine remained crouched, methodically collecting her documents. Her movements were precise, controlled. When she stood, her height nearly matched Langford's, but her presence somehow seemed larger. "I'd like to speak with your district manager," she said quietly. Langford laughed, a harsh sound that carried across the marble. "The district manager doesn't take meetings with street people. You think you can walk in here looking like that and demand executive time?" The livestream counter climbed higher. Vivian zoomed in on Langford's name tag. "Preston Langford, branch manager. Everyone's getting this man's name," she muttered to her audience. "This is going viral." Near the investment desk, Mrs. Corin Lang clutched her purse tighter. She had immigrated from Taiwan decades earlier and recognized the particular cruelty of public humiliation. "This isn't right, dear," she whispered to Celine. Langford's head snapped toward the elderly woman. "Mrs. Lang, please don't encourage this disruption. We're handling the situation." Harlan Voss, the head of security, emerged from behind the loan officer stations. His radio crackled with static. Something about Celine looked familiar, but he couldn't place it. Her calm demeanor didn't match Langford's description of an aggressive customer. "Ma'am," Harlan said carefully, "is there something we can help you with?" Langford jumped in before Celine could respond. "Harlan, call back up. Code yellow. We have an aggressive individual refusing to leave." "Code yellow?" Harlan hesitated. He had worked bank security for years. Code yellow was for actual threats, armed robbery, violence, credible danger. This woman was picking up papers. Celine's phone buzzed. The caller ID read, "Sterling Voss, board chair." She declined the call without looking up. Then another buzz. "Same caller. Declined again." Langford noticed the expensive phone case. Genuine leather with gold corners. His eyes narrowed slightly, but he pushed the observation away. Probably stolen. "See that?" Langford pointed at Celine's phone. "Probably dealing drugs. That's how they afford nice things while coming here for handouts." The accusation landed like another slap. Several customers shifted uncomfortably. A young father moved his daughter behind him. Two business executives near the vault exchanged whispers and pointed. Vivian's livestream exploded. The viewer count jumped higher. Screenshots flooded social media with the hashtag for the bank's shame. Someone had already identified the branch location and posted the corporate customer service number. "This is insane," Vivian narrated. "He just accused her of being a drug dealer because she has a nice phone. The racism is it's blatant." Celine's portfolio lay open on the marble floor. As she gathered the scattered pages, a first-class boarding pass became visible. Langford didn't notice, but Harlan caught a glimpse of the gold lettering. "Ma'am," Harlan tried again. "Maybe we can resolve this in the manager's office." "Absolutely not," Langford interjected. "She doesn't get private meetings. She gets escorted to the exit." Celine's phone buzzed a third time. This time she glanced at the screen, her expression unreadable. Board chair Voss was persistent. She declined again and slipped the phone into her coat pocket, where it nestled next to her leather wallet. Langford caught a flash of black plastic, her credit card. Even from his angle, he could see it wasn't a standard card. The material looked different, heavier. But his pride had him cornered now. The live stream, the staring customers, the whispered conversations, he'd made this public. Backing down would mean admitting he'd assaulted an innocent customer. His long banking career couldn't survive that kind of mistake. Call corporate security, he told Harlan. I want her trespassed from all First National properties. Harlan's radio remained clipped to his belt, silent. Langford's face reddened. Did you hear me? I said call corporate. I heard you, Mr. Langford. The tension stretched between them like a wire about to snap. Customers sensed the shift. Vivienne adjusted her phone angle to capture both men's faces. Celine stood slowly, her documents finally organized. She looked directly at Langford for the first time since the slap. Preston, she said quietly, you should call corporate. Assistant manager Tristan Hale's heels clicked urgently across the marble as she approached the growing crowd. Her usual diplomatic smile faltered when she saw Vivienne's phone still recording, and the obvious tension radiating from Langford. What's the situation here? Tristan asked, her voice professionally calm but her eyes darting between the livestream and her superior. Langford's jaw tightened. Tristan was supposed to support him, not question his authority. Just removing a disruptive individual who refuses to leave after being asked politely. Politely? Vivienne's voice carried clearly to her thousands of viewers. He slapped her and called her trash. Tristan's composure cracked slightly. Preston, did you? I handled it appropriately, Langford cut her off. This person was creating a disturbance and making our customers uncomfortable. Celine's phone buzzed again. Sterling Voss, board chair. Another call. She glanced at the screen, then at Langford, her expression unreadable. The call went to voicemail. See? Langford pointed triumphantly at her phone. Dealer's customers getting impatient. They know she's not where she's supposed to be. Tristan Hale had worked retail banking for years. She recognized expensive accessories when she saw them. Celine's coat was wool cashmere, her shoes were Italian leather, and that phone case cost more than Tristan's monthly car payment. But Langford was her supervisor, and contradicting him publicly could end her career. Ma'am, Tristan addressed Celine carefully. Perhaps we can discuss your banking needs in a more private setting. Don't coddle her, Langford snapped. She's not a customer. Look at her, Tristan. Does she look like she belongs in our premium branch? Vivienne's live stream counter climbed higher. The comment section moved too fast to read multi-equals. Someone call the police. Get his manager on the phone. This is discrimination. She's going to sue them into bankruptcy. Screenshots circulated on social media with the banking while black hashtag trending alongside the bank's shame. A local news blogger had arrived outside interviewing customers who'd witnessed the incident through the floor-to-ceiling windows. 3 more security guards appeared from different sections of the bank. They formed a loose circle around Celine, not threatening but clearly creating physical intimidation. Harlan remained closest to her, his radio silent despite Langford's repeated demands to call corporate security. Something was wrong with this picture, but he couldn't identify what. The woman's calm demeanor, her expensive accessories, the way she held herself, none of it matched Langford's narrative. Ma'am, Harlan said quietly, I need you to understand that you're being asked to leave bank property. Celine looked at him directly. I understand what I'm being asked to do, Harlan. What I don't understand is why. Her voice carried authority that made Harlan step back slightly. In years of security work, he'd learned to read people. This woman wasn't dangerous. She wasn't even angry. But she was definitely not intimidated. Langford's confidence surged as more guards arrived. You see, even our security team recognizes the threat. This is exactly why we have protocols. The main branch's phone system lit up. The front desk receptionist fielded call after call. Awesome First National Trust. How can I? No, sir, I can't comment on ongoing. Ma'am, I'll need to transfer you to... Yes, I understand you saw the video. Each call made Langford more defensive. Each ring of the phone felt like another nail in his coffin, but backing down now would mean admitting fault. Outside, a news unit pulled into the parking lot. A reporter emerged with her cameraman already briefed about the viral video. This is exactly the kind of story that destroys careers, Tristan thought, watching through the window, her own career included. Mrs. Corinne Lang approached the security perimeter, her small frame dwarfed by the guards. Officers, this woman hasn't done anything wrong. I've been watching the entire time. Ma'am, please step back, one of the newer guards instructed. Don't you ma'am me, Mrs. Lang snapped, her accent sharpening with indignation. I've banked here longer than you've been alive. This is discrimination, plain and simple. Langford's face flushed crimson. Mrs. Lang, with all due respect, you don't understand the full situation. I understand a man hitting a woman in public, she shot back. I understand bullying when I see it. Vivienne adjusted her phone angle to capture Mrs. Lang's defense. The elderly woman's courage resonated with viewers. The comment section exploded with heart emojis and applause. Viewer count climbed higher. Tristan Hale made a decision that would either save or end her career. Preston, perhaps we should de-escalate the situation. Move it to your office away from the cameras. No! Langford's voice carried across the entire lobby. I want everyone to see how we handle people who think they can disrupt our business. This bank serves successful customers, not what, Preston? Celine's voice cut through his rant like a blade. The entire lobby fell silent. Even Vivian's narration stopped mid-sentence. Langford's mouth worked soundlessly for a moment. Every customer, every employee, every security guard waited for his next words. Not people who don't belong here, he finally said. The silence stretched longer, heavier. Celine's phone buzzed again. This time she answered. Yes. Her voice was quiet, but in the dead silence of the lobby, everyone heard her side of the conversation. No, I'm still at branch 47. Yes, downtown. There's been a situation. No, don't send anyone yet. I need a few more minutes. She ended the call and slipped the phone back into her coat. Langford's eyes narrowed. Who was that? Your dealer? Your pimp? The accusation hung in the air like poison gas. Vivian's livestream reached thousands of viewers. Someone in the comments had identified the branch's exact address and posted it alongside the corporate complaint hotline. Tristan closed her eyes. Her career was over. There was no recovering from this level of public humiliation, regardless of who was right or wrong. Harlan made his decision. Mr. Langford, I think we should call this into corporate before— I give the orders here, Langford exploded. Security works for management, not the other way around. His outburst echoed off the marble walls, ensuring every phone in the lobby captured it clearly. Celine straightened to her full height. When she spoke, her voice carried the kind of quiet authority that made boardrooms go silent. Preston, you have a short window to reconsider your position. Langford's laughter was sharp and cruel. Or what, you'll call your lawyer your social worker? Celine opened her leather portfolio with deliberate precision. The first document she withdrew was a laminated ID badge, gold lettering on black plastic. First National Trust Corporation Board of Directors, Celine Vaughn, Chief Executive Officer. The badge caught the lobby's crystal lighting like a mirror. Langford's laughter died in his throat. Or I'll call an emergency board meeting to discuss immediate personnel changes, Celine said quietly. The silence that followed was absolute. Even Vivian's livestream commentary stopped mid-sentence as she zoomed in on the badge. Tristan's face went ghostly white. Harlan stepped back involuntarily. Mrs. Lang smiled for the first time that morning. Langford's eyes darted between the badge and Celine's face, his brain struggling to process the impossibility. That's fake. You can't just print— Celine withdrew her phone and dialed an internal extension. The call connected on the first ring. Security Command Center? This is Celine Vaughn, CEO. Authorization code Zulu 77 Alpha. I need corporate security at branch 47 immediately. Yes, ma'am, dispatching now. The entire lobby heard both sides of the conversation. Langford's knees nearly buckled. Vivian's live stream exploded. The viewer count jumped dramatically. Comments flooded the screen faster than her phone could display them. Holy, she's the CEO. Plot twist of the century. He's so fired. This is better than Netflix. Screenshots spread across every social media platform simultaneously. The CEO reveal joined the trending hashtags alongside the bank's shame and justice served. Langford's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. His face cycled through denial, recognition, and pure terror in a matter of seconds. Ms. Vaughn, your appearance, I didn't recognize— He stumbled over words, his earlier confidence evaporating like morning mist. You didn't recognize me, Celine repeated calmly. Because you assumed successful people look a certain way. She withdrew a second document from her portfolio. Corporate letterhead with legal seals and signatures. Urgency Workplace Investigation Protocol. Case number initiated that morning following credible reports of discriminatory practices at Branch 47. Tristan's hands trembled as the implications hit her. This wasn't random. This was planned. Corporate had been investigating Langford for some time. The board meeting I'm supposed to attend shortly, Celine continued, was specifically called to review this investigation's findings. Your actions today just became Exhibit A. Harlan's radio crackled. Corporate security to Branch 47, en route. Langford dropped to his knees beside her scattered papers, frantically trying to organize them. Ma'am, Ms. Vaughn, please understand. I was protecting the bank's interests, your casual attire. I thought— You thought what, Preston? Celine's voice remained eerily calm. That I was what you called me? Trash? A welfare queen? A drug dealer? Each word landed like a physical blow. Langford flinched with every repetition of his own accusations. The main entrance doors opened with a rush of cool air. 3 corporate security officers in dark suits entered, led by Director Elena Drake. Their practiced eyes swept the lobby, immediately identifying the principals involved. Ms. Vaughn, Director Drake approached with professional deference. We received your call. Thank you, Elena. Please document everything. Mr. Langford has provided us with substantial evidence for our discrimination case. Vivian's phone captured every moment. Her live stream had become the most watched corporate drama in social media history. News outlets were already reaching out to license her footage. Director Drake activated her body camera and withdrew official documentation. Mr. Langford, I need to inform you that this interaction is being recorded for corporate investigation purposes. Langford's voice cracked. This is all a misunderstanding. You were just what? Mrs. Lang's voice cut across his excuse. Just hitting customers? Just calling them drug dealers? The elderly woman had positioned herself perfectly in Vivian's camera frame. Her moral authority was undeniable. Director Drake consulted her tablet. Mr. Langford, according to our live stream analysis, you made the following statements. Get this trash out of my bank. Welfare queen. Drug dealer. And people like you drain resources from successful Americans. Is this accurate? Langford's silence confirmed everything. You also made physical contact with Ms. Vaughn, specifically slapping her face. Is this accurate? The situation was, yes or no, Mr. Langford, because Mr. Langford? Yes. The admission echoed through the lobby like a gunshot. Vivian's viewers heard everything through her live stream. The viewer count had climbed even higher. Celine withdrew the final document from her portfolio, the one she'd been holding back. Corporate legal letterhead with the current date, termination authorization, executive override protocol. Effective immediately upon evidence of criminal assault against customers or corporate officers. Langford's legs gave out completely. He collapsed into one of the leather lobby chairs, his face buried in his hands. Tristan found her voice. Ms. Vaughn, I want to state for the record that I opposed Mr. Langford's actions. I tried to de-escalate. I know, Tristan. Your employee record reflects consistent professionalism. This investigation was specifically targeting discriminatory patterns, not department-wide issues. Relief flooded Tristan's features. Her career might survive this after all. Harlan approached cautiously. Ma'am, I apologize for not recognizing the situation sooner. Something felt wrong, but I should have acted on my instincts. You showed restraint and professionalism, Harlan. That's exactly what we need from security personnel. Director Drake consulted her checklist. Mr. Langford, please surrender your employee ID, building access cards, and any company property in your possession. Langford's hands shook as he fumbled with his badge. The same badge he'd used to intimidate customers for years was now evidence in his own termination. Vivian finally found her voice for her livestream audience. I literally cannot believe what just happened. This is the most insane plot twist I've ever witnessed in real life. Her comment section was pure chaos. News outlets were sliding into her messages, offering money for exclusive footage rights. The CEO reveal was trending worldwide. Celine looked directly into Vivian's camera for the first time. Change doesn't always come from the top down, she said. Sometimes it comes from brave people willing to document injustice when they see it. Vivian's hand holding the phone trembled slightly. She'd just become part of the story she was telling. Director Drake's tablet displayed real-time data that made Langford's face drain of color. Mr. Langford, I'm required to present the investigation findings before proceeding with termination protocol. Celine stepped forward, her voice carrying the authority of someone who'd spent years in boardrooms making million-dollar decisions. Branch 47's customer satisfaction ratings among minority demographics are significantly below corporate average. African-American customer retention rate has declined substantially under your management. Langford tried to interrupt. Those numbers don't... I'm not finished. Celine's tone cut through his protest like steel. Legal settlements for discrimination complaints filed against this branch specifically? Total millions. That's dramatically higher than any other First National location. Vivian's livestream counter climbed higher. Financial news networks were already pulling her footage for their breaking news segments. Director Drake consulted her documentation. The Corporate Discrimination Response Protocol states that any employee making physical contact with customers faces immediate termination without severance benefits. Wait, please! Langford's voice cracked with desperation. Subsection C specifically addresses public humiliation based on racial characteristics. Mr. Langford, your statements today included references to welfare dependency, drug dealing, and resource drainage, all classified as racially motivated harassment under federal employment law. Tristan had been taking notes throughout the confrontation. Her survival instincts kicked in. For the record, I want to state that I witnessed Mr. Langford ignore standard de-escalation protocols. I attempted multiple times to redirect the situation. Noted, Ms. Hale. Director Drake marked her tablet. Your employee file shows consistent adherence to customer service standards. Harlan stepped forward. Ma'am, I also want to confirm that I was ordered to call Code Yellow. That's for violent threats. This customer showed no aggressive behavior. I refused the order because it wasn't justified. Also noted, Mr. Voss. Langford's desperation reached a new level. This is entrapment. You set me up. How was I supposed to know she was... You weren't supposed to know anything, Celine interrupted. You were supposed to treat every customer with basic human dignity regardless of their appearance or perceived economic status. The lobby had become the makeshift courtroom. Mrs. Lang had positioned herself in the front row like a gallery observer. Other customers maintained respectful distance, but their attention was absolute. Celine withdrew her phone and opened the banking app. Current stock price analysis, Preston. When you slapped me, First National traded at a certain level. She turned the screen toward Viviana's camera so her thousands of viewers could see the numbers. After footage of your assault went viral, the price dropped noticeably. That's a significant decline in a short window. Langford's face went ashen. The stock price isn't my... Market capitalization loss, approximately hundreds of millions. Each minute of viral footage costs shareholders substantially in confidence. Director Drake's tablet chimed with an urgent notification. Ms. Vaughn, I'm receiving real-time reports from our crisis management team. Major networks are requesting corporate statements. Morning shows want live interviews. Of course they do. Celine's voice remained steady, but her eyes showed the weight of corporate leadership. This isn't just about Branch 47 anymore, Preston. Your actions are now a national story about banking industry discrimination. Vivian adjusted her camera angle to capture the stock price display. Her comment section exploded with financial analysis from viewers. Stock down and falling. This is costing them millions. Justice costs money, apparently. Tristan's phone buzzed with text messages from other branch managers across the city. Word was spreading through internal channels faster than social media. The board meeting I am supposed to attend, Celine continued, checking her watch, is now a crisis management session. Board Chair Voss is fielding calls from institutional investors concerned about our corporate culture. She opened her email app on her phone, scrolling through dozens of messages. Legal department recommends immediate settlement discussions for potential civil rights lawsuits. Marketing suggests a comprehensive public apology campaign. HR is calculating the cost of system-wide discrimination training. Langford made one final desperate attempt. I can fix this. Give me another chance. I'll take sensitivity training, anger management, whatever you want. Preston. Celine's voice was quiet but final. You didn't just make a mistake, you revealed who you are, and who you are is incompatible with our values. Director Drake read from her tablet. Employment Termination Code 7 Alpha. Gross misconduct resulting in corporate liability exposure. Effective immediately, Preston Langford is terminated from First National Trust Corporation. Furthermore, per federal banking regulation, assault of customers triggers mandatory reporting to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. Your banking industry employment eligibility is under federal review. Langford's career wasn't just ending. It was being incinerated in real time. Your final paycheck will reflect wages through yesterday only. No severance package is authorized under this termination code. Health insurance coverage ends tonight. The corporate machinery moved with ruthless efficiency. Langford's access cards were deactivated remotely. His employee email account went dark. Years of banking career deleted with keystrokes. Vivian's audience reached tens of thousands of viewers. Major news networks were negotiating licensing deals for her footage. Banking While Black was trending in multiple countries. Mrs. Lang approached the security perimeter. Young lady, she addressed Vivian, make sure this video never disappears. People need to see what accountability looks like. Yes, ma'am, I'm backing this up everywhere. Celine turned to address Vivian's camera directly. This incident represents everything wrong with unconscious bias in corporate America, but it also demonstrates the power of transparency and immediate accountability. Her words carried weight that transformed the viral video from entertainment into education. To our customers watching this, you deserve dignity regardless of your appearance, accent, or economic status. To our employees, this is the standard, no exceptions. Director Drake concluded her documentation. Mr. Langford, corporate security will escort you from the building. You have a short time to collect personal items from your office under supervision. 2 security officers flanked Langford as he stood on shaking legs. His years of authority had evaporated in less than half an hour. This isn't over, he muttered, but his voice lacked conviction. You're right, Celine replied. Your actions today will become part of our company-wide training program. Every new hire will learn exactly what not to do by studying your choices. Langford's face crumbled. Not only was he fired, he was becoming a cautionary tale that would outlast his career by decades. As security escorted him toward his office, Tristan stepped forward. Ms. Vaughn, how can I help rebuild trust with our customers after this? By doing exactly what you tried to do today, Tristan. De-escalation, dignity, and professional service regardless of appearances. Harlan radioed his team. All clear in the main lobby. Resume normal operations. But nothing would be normal again. Branch 47 had just become the most famous bank location in America. Vivian's live stream showed no signs of slowing down. I came here to deposit my student loan check and accidentally documented the biggest corporate justice story of the year. Her viewers were already creating memes, writing news articles, and sharing the footage across every platform imaginable. Celine gathered her documents, her movements as calm and deliberate as they'd been when she first entered the lobby. Elena, I need incident reports filed with legal, HR, and public relations shortly. Full documentation package. Already in progress, Ms. Vaughn. The corporate machine was adapting, learning, evolving in real time. Justice had arrived with a badge and a badge number. Langford's office door clicked shut behind the security escort. Through the glass part, customers watched him pack years of career achievements into a cardboard box. His hands shook as he removed photos of company awards and customer appreciation plaques. Vivian's live stream maintained tens of thousands of viewers as she narrated the aftermath. He's cleaning out his office right now. This is surreal. A short while ago he was calling her trash and now he's unemployed. Celine stood in the main lobby, surrounded by the evidence of systematic change beginning in real time. Her phone buzzed constantly. Board members, legal counsel, media relations, crisis management teams. She answered the call from board chair Voss. Sterling, I'm still at branch 47. Yes, the situation is contained. No, we're not settling. We're leading. Her voice carried across the marble lobby, ensuring everyone heard her commitment to accountability. Schedule an emergency press conference for later today. Full transparency. We're not hiding from this. We're owning it. Director Drake approached with her final incident report. Ms. Vaughn, documentation is complete. Legal has everything they need for civil rights compliance reporting. Excellent. Now let's talk about permanent changes. Celine addressed the entire lobby, her voice carrying the authority of someone transforming corporate culture in real time. Effective immediately, Branch 47 becomes our pilot location for the Dignity Banking Initiative. Tristan stepped forward, notepad ready. What does that involve, ma'am? First, bias recognition training becomes mandatory for all customer-facing employees. Not annual refreshers. Comprehensive sessions with real-world scenarios. Vivian adjusted her camera to capture this historic moment. Her audience was witnessing corporate policy being written live. Second, customer interaction protocols are being rewritten. Every customer receives identical service standards regardless of appearance, accent, or perceived economic status. Harlan consulted his security manual. Ma'am, what about legitimate security concerns? Legitimate security involves actual threats, Harlan, not assumptions based on clothing or race. Celine opened her laptop and projected the screen onto the lobby's digital display. Everyone could see the policy framework being drafted in real time. Dignity Banking Initiative, Branch 47 Pilot Program Phase 1. Immediate implementation, AI-powered customer interaction monitoring system. Bias detection algorithms, analyzing transaction patterns, real-time coaching alerts for employee devices. Mrs. Lang moved closer to read the display. Technology watching for discrimination? That's brilliant. Phase 2. Cultural Transformation Community. Advisory board with local residents, regular bias audits by third-party civil rights organizations. Public reports on progress metrics. Tristan's pen moved rapidly across her notepad. How do we measure success? Data, Tristan. Customer satisfaction surveys by demographic. Transaction completion rates across racial categories. Complaint resolution times. Mystery shopper programs with diverse testers. The lobby had transformed into an impromptu policy workshop. Customers, employees, and security personnel found themselves participating in corporate reform. Vivian's comment section exploded with viewer engagement. This is how change happens. She's rewriting banking right now. Other companies need to watch this. Leadership in real time. Celine's phone displayed incoming calls from competitors, regulators, and advocacy organizations. The story was expanding beyond First National into industry-wide scrutiny. Phase 3, Systematic Expansion. Major Community Investment Fund for Minority Business Loans, Diverse Hiring Requirements. Partnership with local civil rights organizations for ongoing oversight. Langford emerged from his office, flanked by security, carrying his cardboard box of former authority. His face was ashen, his confidence completely shattered. As he passed the group, Mrs. Lang spoke directly to him. I hope you learned something from this, young man. Langford stopped, turned, and for the first time showed genuine remorse. I'm sorry to everyone. I was wrong. His apology carried no defiance, no excuses, just the hollow sound of someone who'd discovered the cost of prejudice. Vivian captured this moment. He just apologized to everyone. I think he actually gets it now. Security escorted Langford through the main entrance. Years of banking career ended with automatic doors closing behind him. Celine returned to her policy presentation. Phase 4. Industry Leadership Annual Discrimination Prevention Conference hosted by First National Open Source Bias Detection Software shared with competitors congressional testimony on banking industry reform. Tristan raised her hand like a student. Ms. Vaughn, won't this be expensive to implement? Tristan, we lost hundreds of millions in market value this morning because of one discriminatory incident. Prevention costs less than crisis management. The mathematical logic was undeniable. Discrimination wasn't just morally wrong, it was financially catastrophic. Harlan studied the digital display. This monitoring system, it'll track everything we do. It'll track patterns, Harlan. Are certain customers being treated differently? Are transaction times varying by demographics? Are complaint procedures being followed consistently? But won't employees feel like they're being spied on? Employees who treat customers with dignity have nothing to worry about. Employees who don't, well, you just saw what happens. Vivian's live stream had become required viewing in corporate offices across the banking industry. HR departments were already downloading her footage for training materials. Celine's final policy edition appeared on the screen. The Preston Langford Memorial Training Program, all new hires study this incident as mandatory orientation, regular refresher courses using today's footage. Customer service representatives practice dignity-based interactions. The room fell silent. Langford's name would become synonymous with everything wrong in customer service and everything right about accountability. Mrs. Lang smiled approvingly. You're making sure this never happens again. That's the goal, permanent change, not temporary punishment. Director Drake received a notification on her tablet. Ms. Vaughn, the press conference has been confirmed. All major networks will be present. Good, transparency accelerates trust. Vivian addressed her tens of thousands of viewers directly. I've been streaming for hours and I've watched corporate culture change in real time. This is what accountability looks like. Her audience had witnessed history, not just justice served, but systems reformed. Harlan approached with genuine curiosity. Ma'am, why did you handle it this way? You could have had him fired quietly. Celine considered this question carefully. Because quiet solutions create repeated problems. Public accountability creates permanent change. Tristan closed her notepad. When do we start implementation? We already have, Tristan. Today was phase 1. Sometime later, Celine Vaughn walked through the same marble lobby of Branch 47, but everything had changed. The morning sun streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating a bronze plaque by the entrance. Dignity Banking Initiative Pilot Location Excellence in Inclusive Service. Reed Ashcroft, the new branch manager, greeted her warmly. The young Latina woman had been promoted from the community banking division after demonstrating exceptional customer service ratings across all demographics. Ms. Vaughn, welcome back. We're honored to have you visit our progress. The lobby buzzed with diverse activity. Mrs. Lang sat at the investment desk reviewing her portfolio with a young black financial advisor. A family speaking Spanish received patient assistance from a bilingual teller. An elderly veteran in casual clothes discussed a business loan with genuine enthusiasm from the lending officer. The digital displays showed real-time customer satisfaction metrics, high positive ratings across all demographic categories. Transaction completion times had equalized regardless of customer background. Complaint resolution averaged a fraction of the previous industry standard. Vivian Hale had returned for a follow-up story. Her original livestream had become the most watched corporate accountability video in social media history, with millions of views across all platforms. It's incredible, she said, recording her update. Some time ago, discrimination was the norm here. Now, this branch leads the entire banking industry in inclusive service. Her audience had evolved too. What started as viral entertainment had become a case study in business school curricula, law school civil rights courses, and corporate training programs nationwide. The Preston Langford Memorial Training Program had processed thousands of banking employees across hundreds of financial institutions. His name had become shorthand for unconscious bias training, featured in major publications, talks, and congressional testimony. Langford himself had struggled to find new employment. Banking industry background checks flagged his termination for discrimination. He'd eventually taken a job at a community college teaching basic financial literacy to immigrant families, a humbling irony that forced him to confront the communities he'd once dismissed. Tristan Hale, now promoted to Regional Diversity Officer, approached with quarterly reports. Ms. Vaughn, I wanted to share our latest numbers. She opened her tablet to display comprehensive metrics. Customer retention across racial categories is high and rising. Minority business loan approvals have increased dramatically. Employee diversity index exceeds targets, bias incident reports, 0 confirmed cases over consecutive periods. Most importantly, Tristan continued, customer feedback consistently mentions feeling seen and respected regardless of their background. Harlan Voss had been promoted to head of corporate security training. His role now included teaching de-escalation techniques and bias recognition to security teams across hundreds of First National locations. The biggest change, he reflected, is that we're trained to see people as individuals, not categories. Every customer gets the same professional respect. The ripple effects extended far beyond banking. The story had triggered industry-wide examinations of customer service practices in retail, healthcare, and government services. Consumer advocacy groups used Branch 47's standard as their benchmark for inclusive treatment. Celine's phone displayed messages from corporate leaders across industries, requesting consultation on bias prevention. Prestigious institutions had offered her guest professorships in corporate social responsibility. Civil rights organizations had nominated her for leadership awards, but the personal satisfaction came from smaller moments. Mrs. Lang had brought her granddaughter to open her first savings account, confident she'd be treated with dignity. Young professionals of all backgrounds chose First National specifically because of their commitment to inclusive service. The AI monitoring system had detected and prevented dozens of potential bias incidents through real-time coaching. Instead of reactive punishment, the technology enabled proactive intervention and education. Vivian concluded her follow-up video. This story proves that individual accountability can drive systematic change. One moment of injustice became a catalyst for industry-wide transformation. Her comment section reflected the evolution of public discourse. This should be required viewing in every workplace. Other industries need this same accountability. Real change is possible when leaders take responsibility. My company implemented similar training after watching this. Celine stood in the exact spot where Langford had slapped her. The marble floor had been polished to mirror brightness, but the real transformation was invisible. A culture shift that prioritized human dignity over assumptions and prejudice. She addressed Vivian's camera one final time. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with individuals willing to demand better. Today's story began because one brave person decided to document injustice. It continued because witnesses refused to stay silent. And it succeeded because accountability created lasting reform. Her words carried the weight of lived experience and corporate leadership. If you've experienced discrimination, your voice matters. Document it, report it, demand better. Share your experiences in the comments below. She paused, looking directly into the camera with quiet intensity. If this story inspired you to expect more from the institutions you interact with, subscribe for more stories of real-world justice. Share this video with someone who needs to see that change is possible. And remember, dignity isn't negotiable. In banking, in business, in life, everyone deserves respect regardless of how they look or where they come from. The final frame showed the bronze plaque, Dignity Banking Initiative, where change begins. Vivian ended her live stream with tens of thousands of concurrent viewers and millions more who would watch over the coming days, weeks, and years. The story had become legend. The change had become permanent. Justice had prevailed not through violence or vengeance, but through transparency, accountability, and systematic reform. You've seen the story. Now what will you do with it? At Beat Stories, we believe reflection is good, but action is better. Subscribe, share, speak, because awareness is only the first step.